these large big cap companies reporting. I love it, and I know you do too. It's hard to pick out just 5 companies that you should be watching, but I managed to do it on all the videos for this week. And this video's 5 stocks are an interesting group. What are they? Let's dive right in. We're going to kick it off with Qualcomm, ticker QCOM. And look at this track record. No misses in 5 years. Very impressive. Now, some of these smaller green arrows might be meets. Let's check this one. No, that was still a surprise. But nevertheless, during a pandemic, they were meeting or beating every quarter. That is amazing. Now, let's talk about what the stock is actually doing. So for most of 2021, we had this like narrow trading range. Then we had the surge off of this earnings report, but shares have come down a bit like everything has here in 2022, down 8.8% year to date, but up 10% over the last 6 months. Haven't seen many of these semiconductors actually up over that period. So Qualcomm kind of hanging in there. Is it on sale? It's trading at around 15, almost 16 times forward earnings. So yeah, it's not that expensive here. We'll see what happens after this report. Then let's switch over to something that's having a little more difficulty, Spotify, ticker SPOT. Now, they don't have that great of an earnings surprise track record, but over the last couple of years, nobody's really cared on the street, except maybe for this big miss, which was last quarter. It missed by 92%, and the shares have been down ever since. So over the last 6 months, they're down 24%, but year to date on this plunge here, they're now down 26%. They still trade at an incredibly high PE of 253 times because people weren't really buying it for the earnings. But this kind of company without good earnings and expected to see that be robust is one of the ones that's out of favor this year. So will this earnings report do anything to turn around these shares? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Then we're going to switch back over to the industrial side. Honeywell, HON. This is always one of the stalwarts, right? I always bring it on the videos I do where nobody has missed in the last 5 years. So they joined Qualcomm here on having a perfect track record. That's very impressive. Shares got a big boost off the coronavirus lows and was a big winner. They started off 2021 with more momentum, but it's kind of stalled here and pulled back on worries about, what the recovery is going to look like. So down, over the last 6 months, these shares are down almost 14%. That's not too bad compared to what we've seen with a lot of other companies. And year to date, they're down only 3%. So this is a place you could maybe hide out in. People have been hiding out in the more industrial plays, but shares are not cheap, trading at 22 times. So will valuations catch up with Honeywell this quarter? We'll have to see. Then we're going to switch over to the beauty side with what is one of the charts of the week, Este Lauder, ticker EL. I've talked about it many times on these videos. Only has that one miss during the pandemic back there in 2020. And otherwise, it keeps on trucking, right? And the shares keep on soaring until 2022, where maybe just valuations really caught up. So year to date, they're down about 18%, but that makes sense because they're still trading around 41 times forward earnings. But Estee Lauder is one of the premier beauty brands globally, and especially in China, where consumers have been holding up all throughout the pandemic. But are they now with the Omicron outbreaks and the restrictions that the Chinese government has put on numerous of the large cities there? The Chinese economy appears to be slowing a bit here. It slowed in the fourth quarter, and it looks like it's slowing here in January again. What will Estee Lauder say they're seeing there? That's why I'm watching them. Not so much to see what they say in the North America or Europe, but what is happening in China. So that's key here, but they've been surprising me all along. So I would not be surprised if Beauty is still king, even in China right now in 2022. Then we're going to wrap it up with a retailer, Ralph Lauren, ticker RL. After a rough 2020, when nobody was buying apparel like here and here, they have put together the streak again. So they are very consistent, just those 2 misses in 5 years. That's very impressive as well for a retailer. And as apparel became more popular, you see these huge beats again in the last 3 quarters. But what happened during holiday, because that's what they're reporting, most will have good quarters for the retail as the consumers were out shopping. But what's happening with the supply chain? What's happening with inventories? What's happening with logistics? These are all still issues out there for the retailers as we turn the calendar here into 2022. Now, these shares are down in 2022, down 8%, but that's not nearly as bad as most of the hotter growth names. They're trading around 15 times, so they're cheap, but they're not dirt cheap. But this is definitely one to watch this week on the retail side. So these are some interesting names, and they're in diverse industries. So as you can see, that's why I love this week, because there's so much going on. You don't want to miss a single one of the Earnings All-Stars videos. I'm bringing them to you all throughout earnings season. Get them at Zacks.com/YouTube or on my Twitter feed or Zacks' own Twitter feed. We're everywhere, but be sure to get us somewhere, and I'll see you again next time with some more earnings charts.